Zoom at 8. I am so glad you're here. My name is Julianne Peterson, and I am your host tonight, as well as every Tuesday night for Zoom at 8. I am a loan officer, a loan originator, a senior director at Old Capital Lending. We are a premier provider of debt in multifamily. Of course, we'll do other asset classes like, retail, office, which you should stay away from office, mobile home parks, mixed use, any of the other asset classes we'll certainly take a look at, but really specialists in multifamily. And boy, oh boy, we've got a big announcement coming tomorrow from the Fed. The Federal Reserve is going to be making an announcement tomorrow. But if you're looking at something in multifamily and other asset classes, I'd certainly love the opportunity to provide the debt. We're going to be looking at your T12, your rent roll, your OM, if you have one, your underwriting, if you're doing some CapEx. We can provide a loan for bank, bridge, agency, CMBS. We also will look at preferred equity. We'll look at, mezz debt, mezz on top of the already agency or any of the banks. So there's lots of opportunities out there, and we'd love to be part of it. So we'd love to take a look at that for you. And every time you're here at Zoom at 8, 3 out of the 4 weeks, we have a speaker, somebody who is an industry expert typically. And tonight we've got a special person coming tonight. Marco Barbaro is here tonight to speak with us about masterminding. And so we are very excited to have him here tonight. So I started wondering, okay, masterminding. What is it? I want to think about being in one. And so I started talking to people and saying, whose mastermind are you in? Whose are you in? And I kept hearing MIH. I'm in MIH. Well, who's doing this? And Marco's name kept coming up. And I thought, I got to meet this guy. I got to know him. So I called him up, or I texted him, and we made an appointment. And we made another appointment. And we made another appointment. And we finally connected in person. And I fell in love with this guy because he is.
Julie, I got to apologize. You told me I stood you up 2 times. I never stand people up, but I got to come back.
I didn't say that right now.
No, I know. No, but this is the first podcast in multifamily I'm ever doing. And I've raised over $75 million. And the only reason I'm doing it is because it's you. So everybody wants to get on podcasts and do podcasts and have one. And I'm going to go around tonight how we're different and the mastermind is different. And we don't do all your cookie cutter stuff. But this is the first multifamily podcast that I'm on, telling my story.
Amazing. Amazing. And I just had to find out more about you. So, we spent some time together. And, when I posted this thing that you're going to come on, people came out from the woodwork, and I told you this. I had more people wanting to come tonight to hear what Marco Barbaro was going to say. They want to know Marco. They know Marco. They want to hear what he has to say. They support him. And tonight, I'm excited to hear about your program, what you and why people are doing great things in MIH. So Marco Barbaro is the co-founder of MIH Mastermind. In 1996, Marco graduated from Fairfield University and turned down a job with GE Capital to go into the restaurant business with his brother, Gino Barbaro. So if you guys know who Gino is, he's another person, multifamily. At the age of 23, he bought his first multifamily property, a 4-unit family, in family multifamily, small, in New York. So in 2013, he began investing with his brother, Gino. Jake and Gino in Knoxville, Tennessee, where they purchased their first 25 unit deal there in Knoxville. And since then, he's continued to partner with Jake and Gino on his own and with Sharpline Equity on over 3,500 units. Man, oh man, that's a lot. He currently owns 28 generational wealth properties and 14 syndications, totaling 42 multifamily deals. He is the husband and the father of 3 beautiful girls. His family and his multifamilies units are his 2 main focuses in life. So I am so delighted to have you here, Marco, to introduce you to my group here, Zoom at 8. We've been here for 4 years and we are just delighted to have you. So welcome. How are you tonight?
Really, really good. Really excited about this. I'm looking forward to adding some value and tips about masterminds, because everybody should start, when they learn the right way, because we're going to go over the wrong way and the right way and what people are doing. And I want to give tips, because if people do masterminds, I want them to do it the right way and for the right reasons.
Listen, I had to look up on GPT, what is a mastermind? What does a mastermind and how many people are in a mastermind? Because honestly, I looked up a mastermind of some sort on LinkedIn, and there was like 25,000 people in one mastermind.
And I thought that's what we're going to cover. That's not a mastermind.
I was like, what is that? So what I'd really like to go over is, okay, the definition or what you think is a mastermind. I'd like to kind of go, what are you doing differently in MIH, right? And why are you structuring it that way? And in order to get involved in the MIH Mastermind, how does somebody get involved with it? Is there a process? Is there an interview? What does that look like? And then people also made a comment about you being a go-giver. So I really want to know, kind of explain that to everybody. What is a go-giver? I know there's a book out, but if somebody were to say, in your mastermind, be a go-giver, what does that kind of explain that to us as well? So
Okay,
that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. And I jotted those questions down. So I'll start out with simple definition of what a mastermind group is. And it's from Napoleon Hill, 1937 book, Think and Grow Rich. And he was the first person basically to coin mastermind, and he coined it right. And nowadays it's being done right and wrong. I'm going to read the definition from him. It's a simple definition. A mastermind group is a gathering of like-minded people who meet up frequently in small groups to support, encourage, and learn from each other's stories, experiences, and ideas, and hold each other accountable to well-defined goals. That's a simple definition, and then people ruin it. So what is a mastermind? And what we're going to cover are tips about them, and what is MIH Mastermind, and how many people, and what we could get into. So what makes and what is MIH Mastermind? It is a hyper-focused group of very high-level family people. We have a lot of multifamily people in there, IT people, accountants, lawyers, doctors, but mainly family people. And the basis on how MIH was built was, I just don't let anybody in. So we're going to get into that. What am I doing differently later? But I started the group at Hadar, and we were going to do it for a year, because when I do something, like my dad always taught me, either you do it the right way or don't do it at all. And I was very successful at the restaurant, winning 12 awards as a chef in a family restaurant with my brother. And I was continually winning awards, but I chose to sell because I just wanted to get out. I did very well at multifamily. And my dad always taught me that concept. If you're going to do something, you do it the right way. I got invited to write for a magazine the year before I was going to sell the restaurant. And I was successful at that. And I had cooking classes. I jarred the marinara sauce. I had 7 streams of income, just like multifamily, how these passive incomes. So then when I went full-time multifamily, I had a lot of deals. I could close deals. I met Hadar at MM4, and I said, hey, we really hit it off with my brother. These guys from New Zealand, he's kicking ass over here. He bought a 52 unit. He's financially free from one deal, the passive income that came from it. He refied out $800,000 from a 50 unit. 2 times he refied. So he had the same work ethic as me. That's what I had to look at, a crazy entrepreneur. And I said, let's start a mastermind. And we built a platform. And I was able, the thing that I was able to do was the first year was a little tough when you get started, but from law of attraction, I just don't let anybody in. And one thing I like to do, I like to be very different. Like I raised over 80 million in 24 months for 14 syndications we closed. 6 were pre-funded and all 14 were closed in funded in one day. So I want to show people that I can raise my members $80 million without being on podcasts or without doing that or without having a newsletter. I don't have a newsletter. So I don't do these things because I want to crush my members' limiting beliefs that you don't have to listen to these mentors, that you have to have a podcast, you have to do a newsletter. You can have it. We help them do that. But I want to show them that you can be different. And in the mastermind, I was able to fully book. After the first year, our members were doing so well that I was able to fully book this mastermind with 0 ad spend. And the way I did it was with my mentors I follow, or my 4 are Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, David Goggins, and Eric Thomas. Tony Robbins, Business Mastery 1, has taught me evolution, innovation, raving fans, and all that stuff. Everything. Tremendous. I teach all that in the mastermind. Gary Vee is teaching my tips of the day that I do. Social media, how to become limitless, and how to not sell and add value. So every group has a pitch, and they're pitching you and have salespeople. We have no salespeople. We don't have a pitch. I'll call Christina up, Kovacs right there, and I'll say, Christina, you're doing great. I want you in my group. And I'm like, and they're like, well, what's your group? I'm like, I'm just gonna send you a couple videos. You fit in my group. You're doing great. I want you in there. She came down to one of my events. And it was basically mainly MIH exclusive, but I let her come. And I was gonna sit down and explain to her. She's like, Marco, I'm in. She saw some of the stuff. She saw the social media. I didn't have to pitch or sell her. She saw everything I was doing. It was the law of attraction. She wanted to be in the family group that we present. So that's what's different is I don't have a pitch. I don't have to sell. I'll get into the Go Giver later. As a Go Giver, every day I'm doing a tip of the day on social. I did the other day. I just did on gratitude. I did what was the other one I did? I did 100% occupancy with waitlist. So every day I'm doing a social media tip of the day, and a lot of I'll give you an example. And to show you how impressive it is a lot of these groups are spending $10,000 to $20,000 a month on ad spend on social media to book people and are struggling. So that's what I teach in the group. I'm also teaching Limitless is how to not sell, but add value. So, and the other thing is the other way with social proof is the high success rate in our mastermind, being a humble family mastermind, but getting great results. Just having a high success rate. I would say if I go over it with Ramo and even Hadar, I would say most groups work on 20%, 2 out of 10 people, or 1 out of 10, because a lot of beginners come in. We really don't accept beginners. Unless you have like say 1 fix or flip or whatever. I would say out of 196 to 200 members, I would say we have a 94, 95% success rate of them, each member having 2 or more deals. Where Robert Musso closed 10 deals last year, 10 deals. Before he joined my group, he would close 1 or 2 deals. Is you become who you hang out with. He hung out with Marco Barbaro and the people in the group, and that's who you become. That's what I also teach. I did a tip of the day on you become who you hang out with. Natasha Dillon, she just closed and built a team, and that's what we do in the masterminds. We build teams. She just closed about 3 or 4 deals last year. Andrew Mullins closed the deal and brought in Christina Kovacs. We built it. I helped build that 5-person team. It was a $1.4 million JV. Andrew Mullins called me up at 10 o'clock at night. At 10:30 at night, I texted Christina, Dr. Weisman, Debbie and Keone Wilcox. I think Debbie's on this call.
Yep.
And at 10:30 at night, that's part of the Go Giver. I'm financially free. I don't have to be doing that at 10:30. I said, Andrew, I got you. But not only did I get him money, it's not the money follows. I got him amazing family people I knew he would love and want to do more deals with. That's one of my talents, is really knowing people, because I like people and to know people. I know who should be doing deals, because a lot of people are closing deals and partnerships don't last, and that deal sells a year and a half later because it just wasn't meant to be. when we build teams in the mastermind, we're trying to build lasting teams. It's not about the money. It's not about closing deals. It's building those teams. Christina's on a deal with me. I want her on a deal, and she's going to do more deals with us. So Justin, 27-year-old engineer, didn't have one deal, came in first year, got a 10-unit direct to seller. Hadar found him in that deal. Year 2, he learned all the processes. He has a direct to seller program. He closed 5 deals, doesn't have a lot of money. And in year 2, and he's 28 now, and he's on his 6th deal. Jay Bellicar just quit his job about a month ago, and he's been in the group about 2 years. So that's something about our mastermind is I do a lot of things different. We're going to go over how I get people in and what we teach in the mastermind. It's not a lot of the same stuff that you're being taught in these education platforms. They're great, but it's all rip and copy, and it's the same stuff that they're teaching about. Do a podcast, do a newsletter, do this, do that. And we're trying to approach it at different ways because this space is the best space, but it's become the most competitive space out there. And I do a lot of Tony Robbins teaching of evolution, innovation, and stuff like that.
So before you go on, Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, what were the other 2?
Tony Robbins is really important in my life. I went to him in 2016, I think, when I was at the restaurant, and he made me realize I need to sell that restaurant, even though I got sales up to 3.2 million a year from 500,000 when we started. It's just a grind business. And when I went there, I learned 7 Force of Business Mastery, which I teach in the mastermind. I teach it so well that I got 30 people in the mastermind who want to drop 12K and come to Business Mastery 1 again with me with Tony Robbins when it's in person again. I use Gary Vee for social media marketing, becoming limitless. A lot of stuff that he does, how not to sell. My brother Gino too built Jake and Gino on basically working free for a year or 2 on the platform and just giving. And then that's how people really want to join. That's what you got to learn. People need to stop selling. David Goggins, he's just a freaking beast. And everybody needs, if you want to be an entrepreneur and you're not listening to David Goggins, you have to listen. He curses a lot and he drops all the F-bombs. He teaches visualization, which I also teach now, visualization and all that stuff. And David Goggins is amazing. It's a combination. For me, it works. So not everyone's going to love David Goggins, but those 3 have really helped me shape what I'm doing. I mean, I closed 27 deals in 3 years. I closed 7 in 2020, 8 in 2021, and 12 in 2022. And it's just it's learning a lot from those guys, and it's actually the mastermind. I'm the teacher, but I have Humble behind me that I'm learning from Bill Hamill, who's awesome. I'm learning from Alex Tam, who's awesome. So the teacher needs to be humble, as in the mastermind. I'm never going to say I closed 27 deals because I'm a great yes, I am, but I'm going to admit that the mastermind has helped me grow. I get to teach and I'm learning from them. And I've been engaged 3 years where Christina's in 1 year, you pay 1 year, then it's free year 2 to 20. But then in year 2, sometimes when it's free, I tell them stay engaged on the chat that we have every day. Stay engaged. We're a family, right? So I've been engaged 3 years because I keep teaching. It's that engagement that keeps the fire going. And that's why people need to find their tribe, find a group. All these groups are great. Rod Cleef, we read Sumrock, Jake and Gino. But you got to find your group like that. The hyper-focused groups, like the evolution of this, is going to really good masterminds that are smaller and more hyper-focused.
Okay, so let's hear your difference.
So the first thing that my members will tell you is I really love people and I really get to know people. The first thing is family, true family. I'm very transparent, very genuine. What did I just do? I just flew out to Cincinnati for 2 days to Jay Bellicar's house. He was having an event and I was supporting him. I cooked at his house for 20 people. I did the whole event. I cooked for 20 people. Okay. And we drank tons of bottles of wine. I slept 1 hour on Wednesday because I had so much to do. I went to bed at 2, woke up at 3 on 1 hour of sleep at his house. We prepped, cooked for 20 people, hung out. I mean, just things like that. He said they couldn't believe it. They're like, you really, I'm like, yeah, that's what you do for family. That's what you do for your members, you know? And leading into family, what the next thing is what do I do different? This is number 2. I'll give you 5. I could give you 15 maybe, but we're going to keep it because we want to
Yeah.
network. I choose my members very carefully. Like I told you, how do I put this? We're not a scaling group. I decided that after the first year, me and Hadar had a talk. I could have been a scaling group right now. In year 2, we booked a lot of people. Year 1 and 2. Year 3, I said, that's it. I turned away 60 to 80 people. I turned away $800,000. Swear to God. I would actually put all the people that want to join. I would show my members in the chat, I'm turning these people away. They're like, we want in. People literally were saying, I want in. I want to get in. I would put it on the chat. They're not like asking me to pitch them. They're like saying, I need to get in your group. Let me in. And I'm like, nope, we're full. Like, and I told Hadar, we're going to change and pivot and evolve to, we're doing only, we have 195 members now. I want to keep it basically at that, but we're doing 10 people in March every year. We're just starting a new group next week, and 10 people in November. We're doing 20. I could do 100 to 150 easily a year with my marketing, which didn't cost me anything. I want to keep it at 20, and I take my time. And the group I just assembled in March is unbelievable. I got a bunch of doctors, high-level people. I mean, unbelievable people in the group. And they're all adding value. And what it does is when I'm able not to let everybody in and have it watered down, the success and the family of the group grows. And I got to be honest, I know how to do this the right way. When I network with somebody, I really don't talk about the mastermind. I really want to get to know somebody. Like, Julie, I knew you already, but when I talked to you, we had such an engaging talk at Raise Fest. We have a great picture of you that you sent me, that they took of us. And you know, I gave you a big hug. And I know when I network with somebody on a networking call, adding value free, they're vetting me, I'm vetting them. And I won't mention the mastermind unless they fit. And if they don't fit and they start asking about the mastermind, I know how to let them know that they can't get in because it's not the right fit. Either I'm very careful of my brand, and that most people aren't. I have 3 daughters. I don't need the money. I need to protect my brand. I have 42 deals. I'm getting to 60 deals. I'm going to get to 80 deals. I have 350 million holdings. I'm getting to 500 million. I'm getting to $1 billion. So the mastermind is only important if it's the right person. If I bring in the wrong people and it's watered down and it's not fitting my brand, then it can hurt my brand, because I teach brand confusion and brand protection and branding. It's not worth it. So I'm very selective. And then I also, I'm honest with people. I'm like, I don't take people's money sometimes. I'm like, I can tell if they're going to succeed or not. I know who's going to put the work in, and I know who's not going to put the work in. There's other groups out there. They don't care. They're scaling. When you're scaling, you take anybody and you grow. That's fine. I know when somebody's on there, it's a true beginner. There's this 22-year-old girl that she's in multifamily. She's worked for a company. Hadar, we didn't take her right now. I told her actually she probably needs Jake and Gino, and her dad's actually going to help her pay, because I go into the finances. They're very sensitive about that. Nobody's sensitive. Salespeople aren't sensitive about that. And I told her, I said, listen, if your dad's going to help you, that's great. It's an investment. It's less than college. You should join maybe Jake and Gino. Go there in 1 year. Let's help get you into a deal. And then maybe in a year or 2, you join the mastermind. I need to get you ready. I said, I want you in. You're working in the field. I don't want to take your money because, first of all, we don't charge enough because I don't need the money. A beginner comes to my group, you got to give me 30K. We're not charging even near that. Because like I said, I assembled this group because I want to assemble a family. And yes, I have to charge, and so does Hadar, because we're offering such great value. And Robert Musso closed 10 deals last year. So yeah, I do need to get paid, but I'm not getting paid anywhere near, because we're not scaling. I'm not doing it for the money. I'm doing it because I want to stay engaged, and I want to be a go-giver, and I want to change people's lives. All right. So that's the main thing. So she was one example of many, which I'm coaching her which group to join. I want to get her ready for our group in the future one day. Because I'm being honest, if I take your money, I feel right now I can't help you as much as I want. You need too much of my time, and it's not the right fit. Number 3, 2 group leaders. I got me and Hadar. A lot of groups don't have the right leaders. Or you join the groups and you're not talking to the leaders. You're talking to 25-year-old coach or 30-year-old coach. You join MIH. I'm in your face. I own 3,500 units. I'm retired, and I'm the one coaching you. I'm the one pushing you. I'm the fearless leader of the group who closed 27 deals during COVID. There's a lot of coaches out there that are coaching, which is unethical, taking people's money, and they haven't done a deal since 2018. So I feel, this is my opinion, and I'm adamant about this. If you're not able to do some type of investing in over a 20-year span in any market cycle, you're just coaching, reading books, and teaching people. I think a good coach like Hadar Kibi down there and me, and Chris Jackson, good coaches should not have fear and be able to buy in a recession. The property clock that we teach: downturn, recession, upturn, and top market. A good coach should be active. So when you're vetting groups, guys, if the coach is not active, what's he doing? He's just teaching you from a book. Anybody can read a book and teach. So I think what we're different is you need fearless leaders who can not be aggressive in a recession, but be active. So what did we do this year to show you the pivot? And I'm pivoting in my group, and I taught them, like, I didn't say we're not doing deals. January, we closed a 62 unit, me and Chris. That was my 42nd deal. We had 146 unit in contract January 25th, 100% occupied, B plus in our market. We turned it down. I told Chris, I said, I don't need deals, dude. I predicted in November delinquencies and vacancies. In December, I knew the recession was coming in 2018. That's why I sold the restaurant. On the chat, I've been telling them what year the recession was coming, no matter if Trump got in or not. We turned this deal away. And I said, no big person would have turned this deal away. Unbelievable deal. I called in November 2023, the year, I give a mantra to the mastermind: year of operations and year of the leader. 2022 was all fucking in. 2021 was protecting your, 2020 was protecting your family from COVID, and 2021 was proper diversification. So I have a mantra every year. Now you guys are going to hear year of operations. People are doing reels about them. I've been talking about it. I deemed it the mantra for MIH. And I told Chris, we're getting every one of our properties 100% occupied in a recession. Our 115 is 100%, our 64 is 100%, our 72 is 100%, our 80 is 100%, our 96 is 100%. And the ones that aren't have 2 vacancies. And this is when a lot of people are having capital calls. And I called my brother because one of our deals had a few vacancies, like our 108 has 6. And I called my brother, I'm like, yo, dude, we don't have vacancies ever. And I said, Gene, I know recession's here. And he was like, what are you worried about? And he's like, dude, you have 6 vacancies. Big boys with 10, 20,000 units are having capital calls all over the place. So I told him, just because if there's Jake and Gino people in that deal, I said, God forbid we stop draws for 2 or 3 months. He's like, dude, if you stop draws for a couple months, no big deal. He's like, you're not having capital calls. Like a lot of people now. And it's a tough time. This year is the year we all got to get through it and be sensitive. You want everybody to win. You feel bad for these people. So, yeah, that's something is important. Is Hadar, you want to say hello? You didn't get a chance to say hello if you're out there. This is my partner. And just talk a little bit about what you do. You were fix and flip 20 years ago. One thing Hadar did was amazing in the mastermind. He does unbelievable deals where he did a fix and flip in New Zealand, usually make 50, 100 grand on it. They made $300,000, brought Ian in on it and Hoon in on it. He didn't have to, it was his deal. He made 2 members $100K each. I mean, that's a go-giver. So Hadar, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you, Marco. And glad to see a lot of MIH people here. And thank you for putting it on, Julie. And yeah, I don't want to take too much of the time, but if you want to learn more about me specifically in the MIH, you can visit the link that I shared here. Started as a wholesaler ago when I was immigrated to New Zealand from Israel and really started learning real estate from the ground up. Back then there was CDs and reading books. There was no podcast or anything like that. And started as a wholesaler, slowly started to close on deals and do trading, contemporaneous closing, renovate and sell and flip, build a buy and hold portfolio of small multi-families in New Zealand. There is no purpose-built apartment communities built to rent like we have in the US. And New Zealand really did great for me over the years, but the market matured to be a market like Boston, LA, San Francisco, New York, very low cap rates, very low yielding markets. So New Zealand became like that. So I really had to, about 6 years ago, I had to grab the bull by the horn and go and look for cash flow opportunity, passive income, generational wealth. So I got tired of the flipping business, and whatever I bought other 20 years in New Zealand did great equity wise, and it's cash flowing a little as well. But it wasn't enough passive income to really, if you like, create a financial independent to a level that I can live the lifestyle by design that I live today. So 6 years ago, I actually joined Jake and Gino. I was one of the first students over there, and it was great. I started learning about multifamily. I got my feet wet through investing in a smaller multifamily in four units, 3 units, then 10 units. And gradually I started buying larger assets, and the rest is history. I met Marco, started scaling, focused specifically on my kind of superpower, if you want, is asset management and creating deal flow. And through Marco and the friendship that we have, I actually got myself opened to the idea of partnerships. So that really helped me to grow my portfolio and even take off the load. Because when I got to 100 units on my own, which my market is Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas, I kind of had my hands full with 100 units on my own, and we did some mobile home parks in Nashville. So Marco and I got and bought a couple of mobile home parks in Nashville, which is doing great with Abraham, like Marco said. And we got one in Clarksville as well, but that's not the shiny object syndrome. We did that because on the mastermind, we had Abraham, who was 27 years old with 2,000 lot mobile home park in East Tennessee. So that allowed us to really leverage his expertise and keep focusing on what we are good at. And that's it, really, just enjoying the ride. Pretty much achieved my financial goals, but we always like to extend the goals and really keep going. And enjoying the ride is the main thing. So I'm grateful to be here, and thank you very much.
So that's awesome. So number 4 and 5. Number 4, if you guys join a group, because there's a lot of everybody's starting a mastermind now. The worst part is when somebody closes 2 deals, they've been in the space 2 years and they're coaching. That to me is unethical. My first deal was when I was 23 years old, and I started a mastermind when I was 41, and I had over 2,000 units. I always wanted to start a mastermind. But I teach an ethics class, of like a 1-2 hour ethics class, just like in raising money, ethics, taking people's money. I always wanted to, and I asked my brother, I'm like, but you know what? Like my dad said, if you're gonna do something, do it right. When somebody does coaching 2 years in, they're doing it for money. They're doing it for the wrong reason. They're not really doing it to help people. Okay. I did it when I had 20 plus years of experience because I wanted to help people, and I felt I want to have the experience like I did when I did my cooking class and had all those awards. I waited till I had 2,000 units. So when I see this, I see so many people coaching after 2 years. It's like, you haven't even gone through a full cycle. I bought a D property, $50,000 I put into it. It had drugs on the property, alcoholics. It was a freaking disaster. My bro's like, you're not investing in that deal. I said, absolutely. If I lose the money, I don't care. I want to turn this deal around because in my mastermind, I want to teach how I turned the D property around. And we did. We bought it for $900K. In 2 years, we sold it for $2.5 million. And my bro was happy I got out of it. But I did that deal. I didn't care about the $50K. I wanted to do it to learn how bad it was. Where I'm talking, I was doing the inspection. Some guy comes out with a 40 and was like, hey, bro, you want to come drink with me? And I'm like, I'm doing an inspection. Like, no, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, so when you're going to join a group, make sure they have a clear structure, agenda for each meeting. In MIH, we have 12-month program. And like I said, year 2 to 20 is free. After you pay us for the first year, a lot of masterminds re-up every year to stay in. I don't need the money, I tell them. You don't need to re-up with us. Your family, you're in. Justin is in 2.5 years, Cash Flow Cowboy. I'm on the phone with him all the time. He just came to New York with me 2 days. I bought him dinner for 2 nights, hung out with me. And whenever he has a deal, he calls me anytime, 9 at night, 10 at night. He's not paying me. He's part of the family. That's the difference. I talk to people after year 1 and forever. So Christina and me we're partners now, but she's going to be getting coached by me for 20 years. That's the dedication I have. So we have a 12-month program. Each month is a masterclass. Start out with vision board and action plan. We teach and network first month. Second month is power networking, attracting money, and Hadar teaches broker relationships and broker templates. Month 3 is asset management masterclass. Month 4 is due diligence masterclass. Month 5 is partnership masterclass, how I teach to form the right partnerships and how I got to 3,500 units with the right teams. Number 6, month 5 is that. Month 6 is negotiation skills by Chris Voss. People don't want to learn negotiation skills. That's the most important thing to get a deal. When you don't overpay your strike price. Month 7 is, what was that month? I missed a couple. But month 7, 8, 9, 10 are more master classes. So so guys, if you talk to people, you join a group, people throw around, I'm starting a mastermind, then they don't even have an education platform. They don't have an agenda. They're just let's get together every week. Every week to me is too much. This is my opinions, guys. So now every week people are motivated. When you have kids, a W-2 and properties and all this, I know people ain't working every week, bro. They'll get on. It's fucking great the first 4 or 5 weeks. I'm telling you right now, you can't get enough work done in a week. I'm not going to tell you how often we meet. I want to leave that to your imagination. I know what works for us. And I'll get into that. Set proper ground rules is number 5. Limit to members in the group. I just saw a group, they're pumping there. Yeah, we're doing great. We got 90 people in the mastermind now. That's not a mastermind. That's a big Zoom call where 2 people are talking and just teaching. And their agenda is to raise money from the people in the group, get deals from the people in the group. They're out for themselves. You can't possibly help 90 people on a call. Okay. So our groups, we started out and our learning curve the first year where we were learning. And if we didn't learn good, we weren't. I told Hadar, if I don't do a kick-ass fucking mastermind, we're not doing it year 2. Okay. So I told him that, and Hadar knows that. It went so well. That's why we did year 2 and 3. And now we are tweaking it and evolving every year. And now the group is getting stronger and stronger because I'm only taking in better and better people because I don't have to take people. That's the thing. So, limit to members. We started out, when we first started, was 5 people, and that works great. 5, 6 people is very good. But then, like, you want to do more because a lot of people want to join. We upped it to, we did a few groups of 18 to 20, and I felt it was great. And we had Yosef who helps us, and it was me and Hadar. We kind of scaled it back to 10 to 12 people now, and our niche right now is about 10 people, where I could give, me and Hadar can really give them the time. We're dialing it down. We have the 12 classes all recorded. We have everything done. The first year you're building. Everything's built. It's speed. Speed wins. So we have everything dialed in so I can be fast with people and not waste time. How long is each meeting? We get on for 2.5, 3 hours. We'll stay on for 4 if we have to. I'll stay on for 5. One night we got on one of our groups. We started at 7:30. Hadar had to leave to go pick up his kids. It was already like 3, 4 hours in. Came back at midnight. Me, Chris Jackson, Andy Fernando, we're all still on. Like, I mean, when you love talking about multifamily and you want to win, you stay on. So usually 3 hours, but it's because of speed and we're dialed in. We don't fuck around. We don't mess around. I don't waste time. It's minutes. It's done. Let's get this done. Let's get deals. Let's make it happen. Like I said, we're only doing 2 groups a year. The March group is full. I may do one in June or November. If I get the right people, I'll do it in June. If I'm not getting, I can book 50 people for June. I want 10 right people. If I don't have them in June, I'll do it in November. And what I do is Bill Hamill, Alex is on this call. Alex Tam got me Lauren. The referrals are the best. She's amazing. She's starting in March. She has a business and her husband's a doctor. They're both high level, amazing. She's doing deals even before she started. So one of my talents is Chad Gorman last year. He wanted to join my group. Is I want to help people before they even join. I had an event in July in White Plains and he wanted to join in November. So I said, listen, I'll buy you dinner. Come to my meetup in White Plains. I got 100-person hyper-focused. It's invite only. I don't do 500,000 people. That's a waste of time. I do 100 high-level, hyper-focused invite people. Come for free. He came. I introduced him to Robert Musso. He did a deal with Robert Musso and with somebody else. He got into 2 deals. He calls me and he started in November. He's like, dude, I'm in 2 deals before I even joined your mastermind. I said, and I joked to him. I said, and I bought you dinner. I said, I didn't charge you for coming to my meetup. So I did that with him. Monica Lorenzo wanted to join my group. I did the same thing with her. I said, she was in Jake and Gino. I said, you committed to my brother. We're not an upsell community. I will help you. I introduced a certain couple people. She got into 2 deals before she even joined my group. And I also did it with, there was one other person that's not coming to my mind. And I also, there's about 2 other people. Oh, Josh Stahl. I got Josh Stahl into 3 deals before he even started. And I did a video, Josh Stahl's videos on my Facebook page. So that's, if you're looking for a mastermind, guys, this is a tip. Vet the leaders, vet the coaches. Are they just teaching? Or can the coach be active in a recession? Can the coach be active in a downturn? Can he be active in an upturn or top market? You gotta ask them. I get phone calls this is the problem I get. And then I tell them this is my response. I'm kind of like savage on it. I don't care. Like I'm not here to sugarcoat things. I get calls. I know, oh, I don't like that group. They're not good. And I'm like, it's actually not the group's fault. It's your fault. You didn't ask the right questions. So don't blame the group. Don't blame that mastermind. Don't blame that community. You didn't vet the coaches, or you didn't vet, you need to do your thing. So, or a lot of times they're like, oh, it's not a good group. It's a lot of times it's the person. I said there's 96% or 94% success rate. There's a couple of people who are not doing good in my group, but I'll let you talk to them. You know why? Because they're probably not putting the work in. If you come into MIH Mastermind and you put the work in, you will crush it. We have guys who are 20 million, 30 million liquid. I have 3 or 4 guys who are 10 million liquid. We have guys who usually, there's guys who make, a couple guys who make 100,000, the younger guys, but we have a lot of guys who are 7 figures. And that's the law of attraction. And that's, I told Hadar, it's a Tony Robbins thing. I woke up every morning. It was a few years back. And I said, I want to attract high level 7-figure people. I would actually talk to myself. I actually say what I want in life. It's manifesting and that. And Hadar saw it. He's like, he would see the application like, holy shit, you're doing it, dude. And that's what I always do. I always believe in visualization, manifestation, and law of attraction. So when you're joining groups, just look into it.
And that's what you're going to teach, is this manifestation and law of attraction and all of that, right? You're going to help people bring that into their lives, correct?
Really, I just
Yes.
want to add something very important, excuse me, and that's something that we teach as well, is in the end of the day, we like to say that the teacher can open the door, but the student needs to walk through it. So we have all the systems and processes in place. We have the network. It's an ecosystem of deal finders and deal sponsors and people that can actually raise money or have money. Somebody on the East Coast or the West Coast that they're not boots on the ground, but there's many other things that they can help and add value to a team. It's all about working in a team. You know, multifamily, it's a team sport. So it's very, very important to be able to spread the load, work as a team, and move together forward. It's very, very important. But another very important point, which is important with the mastermind, is the follow-up, the accountability. We have people that they know they want to do it. They know that they know what they need to do, but they're not being kept accountable. So we make sure that I follow up with people once we have the session. 2 weeks after that, we follow up with email. I follow up. I check with them. Hey, have you done your action step? Have you implemented what you need to do to keep moving the needle into the right direction? It doesn't matter if it's a small movement forward, as long as it's moving forward. That's the key.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask, because yes, there's a lot of people that want to get into this. There's a lot of people that want to pay for this. And they think that if I pay for this, it's going to happen. No,
that's what happens. A lot of people
action.
A lot of people with these big groups, they join a Rock Cleaver, Jake and Gino, and they drop big money. And then like, I help people in those groups for free. I do 100 calls for all these groups. And they're like, that's where they're misled, is just because you invested and you're in a group, it's not there. Like, so when, like I told you, when I let people in, I ask what they do. I know how to really network with people and find out in 10 minutes, find out their whole life. I could tell if they're putting the work in just by what they respond, even with their family. So if I see that they're not going to put the work in, I'm just like, I can't take your money. You're just not going to put the work in, you know, and you're not paying me enough to waste time. I don't have time to waste. I'll let them go drop more money with the big group. With the people who are not going to put the work in, everybody wants multifamily. And like I said, it is the most competitive space out there. You need to find, you could do it on your own, get a 4-unit, 10-unit, 3-unit, 20-unit. You could do that. But once you get to 5 or 6 deals, you need to be in the right group. It doesn't matter what group you guys join, you need to join the right group. You need to be around Julie and the right people and stuff like that. Go ahead. Ginny, put your hand up.
Just one more sentence, and I'm not going to say it's accountability is the glue that tie commitments to result. Accountability is the glue that tie the commitments to result. You know, somebody needs to be committed, but they need to be kept accountable to make sure that they keep doing what they're supposed to do. And if they don't do it, then you have to readjust. Maybe some people need to pay $40,000 for coaching just to realize that it's not for them, and multifamily action participation, maybe they should just be an LP. Some people need that. Some people go and drop $40,000 on coaching just to realize that they need to be an LP. That's
you get more education. You learn to be how to be a good path. I teach that. there's nothing wrong with getting educated to be a good passive investor, just instead of handing your money over. So Jason, you have a question?
Yes. I've always wanted to connect with you, Marco. Because we both invest in the Kansas City market, and what I wanted to ask you was, how do you make deals in Kansas City work? Because it's so hard because I've talked to several property managers, and
So Jason, what I'm going to do is, because it's going to take too long, I'm going to give you a free hour call. Okay.
thank you.
Okay. So
there you go.
Raymond or me will give you, I'm going to get your information. And if I can't send you my Calendly, I'll have Raymond, my cousin, send you my Calendly. Okay.
Cool. Thank you
Hey
very much.
Marco. Hey Marco. I want one too. Simone Brown. I want one
Right.
too. I'm out
Well,
here
I
on
will.
West
Well,
Coast.
tonight we don't have.
I love you.
That's
I
fine.
love your energy, bro. I love your energy. You fire, mad fire. But I gotta get closer to you, bro. How can I get closer
Thank
to you?
Thank you.
Yeah,
I will.
mad fire.
I will. So I'll Raymond, write down. I'll put my Calendly link up next month because I'm booked this
Okay.
month, and and we're gonna get into the Go Giver piece.
All right.
And
Yes, let's do that.
I do over 100 calls a month or two for my brother. I'm committed to my brother. I love my brother, and he loves me. And I could charge him for the hour. He tells me charge me. I'm in 14 deals with my brother. I don't need to charge him. So I help Jake and Gino members for free, and they're not MIH, but it's because me and him are committed to each other. So my father always said that you and your brother always get together and never argue about anything. So we're always there he's my older brother, so he takes care of me. So I have to be good to him too. So let's get into what's the process to get involved. Just get on a networking call with me. I'll give you free value. I'll learn from you. I want to hear what you're doing. That's a process. If you're not a true fit, I'm not going to take your money. If it's got to be, I'm being honest. I'll guide you to Jake and Gino or other groups or other masterminds that are good before. So why do they call me a go giver? Story about my dad, and I'll help wrap this up so you guys can network. I think when I was 10 years old, I was working with my dad at the restaurant Mondays when there was no school. And my father was an immigrant from Italy. And people think you need to have a ton of money to be a go-giver. You don't have to have money to be a go-giver. My dad came from Italy poor, and he made millions, and he more successful than me probably. He built 16 houses, and he had nothing. He started from zero. And he also helped build a restaurant for me and my brother. But what I would notice, I was 10 years old, and my dad would have an apple in his hand. The dishwasher, somebody would walk by, he'd be eating it. He'd cut a piece and give it to the dishwasher. My dad was like the toughest guy out there. Like, you did not want to get him mad, but whatever he had, he even just eating an apple, if he saw you, he felt like he had to give you a piece. He was like that with everything in life. And that's just a small aspect. Everything he did was that go-giver aspect. And, he came from nothing. So Tony Robbins also added to that fire of being a go-giver, where I actually got 5 minutes of time to talk to Tony, and he taught me how to get to state. He's like, go, you have 5 minutes, because one of my friends works with him. And he literally says, give 10,000 times more and expect nothing in return. And then it's going to come in return, he says. Get ready. If you're doing it genuinely and being fully for not expecting anything, it's okay to accept it. So that's another thing. And I was always a go-giver at the restaurant because of my dad. But my goal was financial freedom, not for the Lamborghinis, not for the boats, which you'll never see me post that in my group. My group doesn't post Lamborghinis. We're going to buy them. They have them. We're not that type. I don't want that. Okay. But I want to become financially free because I want to be a true go-giver. And I literally, Christine, in year 4, I want to have a deal with somebody and call her and be like, here, get into this deal. I want to be a true go-giver, and I was able to achieve that December 19th when I sold the restaurant, moved down to Florida January, and that's when it all started. And that's when I was always a go-giver, but that's when I was like dedicating. Now I can really do this. Jason wants a call. I'll give Jason now a call, talk about Kansas City. I have 14 deals in Kansas City. Okay. If I scale the mastermind, I don't have time for Jason. I'm making a ton of money, but my goal was to be a go-giver. So that's why I don't want to scale the mastermind. I'm a deal closer. That's what I am. I closed 27 deals in 3 years. I want to get to 60 deals. They're not for me. I was financially free by deal 13. Deal 14 to 35 was for my 3 daughters. Deal 36 to 42 is for my kids' kids. Generational wealth. My kids' kids are not going to have to work. And that's my goal. And I humbly started son of an immigrant with a 4 unit when I was 23. That's what I started with. So, I mean, I teach 1, 5, 10. You're not going to make this happen in 2 years. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Go join those other groups. I teach 1 year. I teach 5 year. I teach 8, 10 years. You got to get to 8, 10 years in this space. I don't care if you don't have a deal for the first 3 years. I'm a student for life. I'm taking a Jesse Itzer class tomorrow at 2:00. I teach at my mastermind. Christina knows this. Student for life. I get people who join like, yeah, I was in that group. I did a year of education. I just need a direct to sell list. I'm like, you don't need deals, dude. You need another 4 years. That's what you need, at least. I got 20 years on you, bro. You ain't gonna get a deal over me. So I mean, and they look at me. I'm like, I say it just like that. I'm like, who cares? You did a year of education. I have 20 years. I'm like, so I'm like, you need to be a student for life. That's the biggest thing I teach. I'm going to be at 60. If I hopefully I need to live to 70 for my girls. When I'm 68, I'm going to be taking classes. It's all for my kids. I did a Sol Reganata video today that I put up from my restaurant. I did it as a go-giver for everybody. I'm really doing it for my daughters. I'm going to do every single video. So when their dad's not here one day, their daughters can go make the dishes that they love that I make at home once in a while. So that's the whole go-giver aspect. It's all about my girls. It's all about setting them up. I could be on a beach just relaxing, but that's not happiness. You need a purpose in life. And this is the other thing I teach besides student for life is progress is happiness. Tony Robbins teaches that. Progress is happiness. I don't do things for the money. The money follows. I don't even care about the money right now. The deals, I'm stacking deals. They're like, how much you, I'm like, I don't care. It'll follow. So progress, when you guys are making progress in education, you're learning underwriting, you're learning how to build a list. Progress is happiness. So that's it. Last thing, mistakes made by masterminds. Group size are too big or too many. They meet too often. Wrong agenda, no education library platform. Main one is wrong coaches or leaders. And the last one is that they just accept anyone. And when you accept too many beginners, it waters it down and the energy is not in the group. You want this energy. You want a high level entrepreneurial energy in the group. Okay. And that's it. And then if Julie, if you have any questions or anything.
Oh my. Well, there's just so much there. I mean, I'm going to have a hard time figuring out which one I'm going to cut and put on there to attract for this call. So is there anybody who has a question? Let's go with one question. Who's it going to be from? Who's going to be the lucky person who gets the call to ask the question? I would think Kyle. Kyle, do you have any questions? Because you usually, unless Kyle, looks like Kyle had to go. Damone, you probably have a question. Sounded like you were pretty excited.
Yeah, I don't have a question, my friend. Caught me off guard, but when you have to do the W-2 and work and all that, how do you still manage all that? I mean, you got a lot of energy. I know you're past all that, but it becomes a challenge when I heard you mention a little bit about it. When you have groups, small groups are better, and I like small groups. I've already spent a bunch of money in a big group and a network, and I wasted my money, and they're not helping me anymore. And I'm just having to jump on these type of things and learn more. My question would be, I don't know, man, just who do you learn from?
Do you listen to David Goggins?
I do listen to David and Eric Thomas. David and Eric.
David Goggins ran like 20 miles on like a broken ankle.
Yep.
Just do it.
Okay.
Just do it. But I mean, I'm an entrepreneur and I love my life. My wife has to stop. Like, I don't have to work. Right now, you know what I'm doing for Sharpline? It's funny because at the restaurant, my father, when he was retired at 52, a dishwasher cut his finger, he would jump in and wash dishes. And my father was worth millions on building. So at Sharpline right now, I saw the recession coming in November and it's the year of the leader. This is the answer to your question. You need to be a leader. Okay.
Find a leader.
Gary Vee teaches, if you're the boss, I teach boss and leader, the difference. If the boss tells the employee, yo, do this, do more, do that, it's not his business. It's your business. At the restaurant, I was the leader. I did more than all my staff, and they respected me. They showed up early for me because I outworked them. I was doing, even though I was the boss, the owner. That's the leader. There's a difference. We teach being a leader, not a boss. At Sharpline, November, I predicted delinquencies and vacancies December, January, where it just went flat in January. We saw it, and now it's leasing season. It's picking up. I jumped in. I added another layer to our real-time leasing system. I did advertisements on my own with Chris knows, with 7 properties. We have them all set up. I shouldn't be doing this. I'm fine. And then I started ripping leads for all the 7 properties, doing bookings. I'm on leasing. I jumped in on leasing. I have property managers that are getting paid to do this. We have a property management company, and they're like, and me and Nick, I'm flying in leads like crazy. And because that's what an entrepreneur does. Bill Gates, these guys, Gary
But
Vee.
Marco, it sounds like you were already brought up in it. Your parents had money. You learned from some good people. So, I mean, I love the fact that you're sharing. The Go-Giver is amazing. So, I mean, you know, it sounds like you already had a lot going for yourself to help you out. What about us that are not, that don't have those opportunities? I mean, I'm gonna listen to Gary Vee and David Goggins.
My parents came here poor from Italy, both. My father gave me a job, and when I got out of college, I turned down a high-paying job from G Capital, and he paid me $300 a week, less than the dishwasher for the first year.
Yeah.
And he said, if I complain about the hours or it's too tough, my dad was a David Goggins. My dad looked at me and he goes, the first time you complain about the hours, the pay, go get a job. He goes, I don't know. He tested me out to see if I had thick skin, could handle the stress of a restaurant. He gradually increased me until he let me become partner. So I started with 0. I actually told him, bro, I need a raise. Like when I was 22, I'm like, I got to take girls out. I'm like, Dad, you got to give me a raise, dude. That's how I got my dad to give me a raise. Complained I couldn't take girls out, and then he gave me a raise. So cool. I started from 0. I bought a 4-family. That's why I teach. You can't do it in a year or 2. You got to be in the space. You got to love this space. Be in it for 10 years. Then after 10 years, be in it for another 10 years. Okay. You don't need a lot of money. So Hadar teaches us. We have the 27-year-old kid. It sucks. If you don't have a lot of money to start, you got to be the deal finder. And I teach deal finders are special in our group. Not everybody's going to be a deal finder. I'm going to say it one more time. I'm going to curse with it too. Deal finders are fucking special. Hadar's a deal finder. Justin's a deal finder. Jaideep's a deal finder. Robert Musa a deal finder. Our difference in the mastermind is I'm bringing in deal finders and I'm bringing in money raisers to help everybody in the group. So I'm searching for deal finders. I'm like, you need to be in my group. And then what happens is we have a lot of deals in the group. I need more money raisers. We have great money raisers in the group. Lindsay just raised $1.5 million for Robert Musa. They're closing tomorrow. She's a doctor. She just started raising. I taught her and helped her. She does a meetup. So now I need more Lindsays in the group because we're getting deals. So that's what I'm doing is the ecosystem, like you said, of deal finders and underwriters. We have Hoon, who's a master underwriter. We taught him to be a master underwriter. He underwrites for the group. I'm bringing in underwriters. Hey, you like to underwrite? I need you in my group. We'll make you a master underwriter. So we're building an ecosystem of underwriters, deal finders, money raisers. We need to close deals.
Money raisers. I want to be a money raiser.
Money in my group is not the problem. I mean, that's not the problem. The deal's a problem. You find a deal, we'll close it. So the deal finders are special people. Wholesalers, for you wholesalers out there, don't get offended. It's a waste of time. You're making a paycheck, that's good. But I mean, the wholesaler needs to learn to get that 30 unit and not wholesale it. He needs to learn how to close it. Because if you can find a 30 unit and you wholesale it, big deal, you made 50 or 100K. You just gave away generational wealth. You gave away 100K refi. If you put 100K in, you know, so that's the thing. Deal finders are special.
Thanks, man.
We got to close this up, you guys. So listen, how do people get a hold of you, Marco? How do we do that?
Let me see.
How would be the best way?
I will put my cell phone up because the whole world has my cell phone. So I would say if you want to jump on a networking call, you just shoot me a text. And then it might be next month.
Now remember, people have access to this on YouTube. So if you want that to go out to the world.
Yeah, trust me, everybody's got my number. And if you Google my name, my chef, Marco Barbaro, comes up, Marco Barbaro. My sales number, I used to cater. 200 reps used to have, former school reps used to have my number in the restaurant. So I'm used to it. Entrepreneurs, it's okay. I want people to have my number. I want instant contact. That's how you become successful.
Okay, I don't see your number. I didn't see it come up here.
Oh, I did it direct to Jason by mistake.
There you go. All right. Well, this has been fantastic. I want to thank you for your time. You know, everyone here got fired up. I just love this to hear and see the success of the people in the room. Your number is 914-615-1859. If you want to reach out and have a conversation. I mean, it starts with the conversation, right? And it's not about fitting yourself into this. It's really about, are you a good fit? Is your personality, is where you're at in your space in life a good fit for them? Okay, be who you are. And if it's the right time and the right fit, it might be a good place for you. So Marco, thank you so much for being here tonight. Appreciate it.